Hi there, I'm Sarah from SidetrackSarah.com, and today we're going to talk about 4 Instant Pot soup recipes that are super easy to put together and they're so delicious. Your family will love them.
Today we're going to make potato soup, cheeseburger soup, Sopa de maize, and chicken tortilla soup.
If you're new to this channel, be sure to check out my other Instant Pot recipes, and I will also be sharing lots of slow cooker recipes, crock pot, and Instant Pot freezer meals, as well as some recipes about my keto journey. The first one we're going to do today is Instant Pot potato soup. My now 19-year-old daughter has decided that potato soup is her absolute favorite soup ever. So for every birthday, she always asks for it. Luckily, she has a birthday in December, so it's a good time for it. But it is definitely a family favorite that all the kids love, and it's so simple to put together in the Instant Pot. Of course, we do have to chop and peel the potatoes. That's the hardest part. So yeah, that's a little bit time consuming, but it's really not bad.
In addition to peeling and slicing 10 potatoes and dicing them into bite-sized pieces, I chopped 1 onion and 3 stalks of celery. After that, I poured in 48 ounces of chicken broth into the bottom of the Instant Pot. Then I poured in the potatoes that had been soaking in water so they didn't turn brown. After that, I did the celery, onions, and spices, and then a cup of bacon bits I threw in to add extra flavoring. And then I put the lid on, put it on sealing, and then cooked for 13 minutes. When it was done, I pulled off the lid and poured in 2 cups of milk. After that, I stirred in 2 cups of cheese, shredded cheese, and I just stirred it all until it was all melted. And then I began ladling it up into bowls where I had many excited children who love to eat this soup. We do like to top it with some more cheese and more bacon bits just for a little bit of extra flavor.
The second soup that we are going to do today is Instant Pot chicken tortilla soup. Now this one was probably one of the easiest ones to do, and it's a little bit spicy because of the diced tomatoes and green chilies. So if your family doesn't like spice, I would consider just doing plain diced tomatoes without the green chilies, because sometimes those green chilies just add a little bit of spice. Sometimes my kids think it's hot and then other times they don't. It kind of depends on the batch that you get. So just keep that in mind as you're assembling this soup. All right, we're gonna start with 3 frozen chicken breasts. And then 48 ounces of chicken broth. $29 ounces of pureed tomatoes. Make a mess. $15-ounce can of drained back black beans. 2 cans of diced tomatoes and green chilies. 1 can of diced green chilies. 1 onion chopped. A packet of taco seasoning. 1 tablespoon of minced garlic. 1/2 tablespoon of cumin. And 1/2 teaspoon of extra chili powder. So I'm just gonna mix these things together a little bit before I start the timer. Since I have frozen chicken, it's going to take 20 minutes to cook on manual high pressure. Make sure you seal this. I'm gonna do pressure cook 20 minutes. Go ahead.
After the timer's gone off, be sure to let the steam out and then pull the chicken breasts out of there and just start chopping them up. I like to use my kitchen shears for that, but I also have some bear claws that I use to tear the meat apart, and sometimes I just use forks. But then after that, I just put it all back into the pot and stir it all around, and there's the finished product. It's still very steamy, but very good.
The third soup we're going to put together is Instant Pot Cheeseburger Soup. Now this soup is amazing. It's so easy and so good. You do have to cut some and peel some potatoes. It's a little bit similar to potato soup, but it has added ground beef and a few different ingredients as well. But it's really cheesy. You can choose to use Velveeta in it or shredded cheddar cheese. I chose the shredded cheddar, but I've had it with the Velveeta, and if you're a fan of that, it's very good with that as well.
We started this soup by browning some hamburger meat. We browned about 2 pounds of lean ground beef, and then I had chopped some potatoes and put that in the Instant Pot along with some shredded carrots, some celery, as well as 48 ounces of chicken broth. After that, we added our spices. We added a little bit of dried basil and some dried parsley. And then we added the 2 pounds of browned ground beef and stirred all of that in. After we put the lid on and put the vent to sealing, then I adjusted the time on my Instant Pot to 10 minutes. Let that come on. While the Instant Pot is cooking, we're going to make a sauce or gravy or roux, whatever you would like to call it. But we start by melting a few tablespoons of butter and then pouring in a few tablespoons of flour and mixing that in, and then slowly adding milk so that it doesn't get clumpy. And so I just stir it every time I add some milk so that it looks nice and smooth like this. And then eventually I added some cheese to have it a nice cheese sauce. And I'm going to be pouring that into the Instant Pot, and this will thicken the soup and make it creamier and of course cheesier as well. So right here I am letting off the steam by turning the knob to venting, and then I'm stirring it up and pouring that roux or sauce into the pot and stirring it again. And then it's time to dish it into the bowls, and actually this was one of my favorite soups. That ground beef in with the potatoes just really gave it a rich and delicious flavor.
The fourth recipe we're going to make is a old-time family favorite that we've been having for years. It's called, the official name of it is Sopa de Maize. Now which actually means soup of corn. So it's actually kind of a corn chowder. Sometimes I call it Mexican corn soup. We serve it with sour cream and salsa and with Fritos. We serve it on top of Fritos. And it's we get mixed results on who likes it in the family. We have some people in the family that don't like corn, so if your family doesn't like corn, this would probably not be the best for you. So for us, my husband likes it okay, and then I made it too often, and then he got sick of it. But for the rest of us who like corn, we really, really like it. So if you're a corn fan, I think you'll like it.
For this recipe, I started with 5 frozen chicken breasts, and I just dumped them in my Instant Pot. And then I added in 3, I believe they were 10-ounce bags of frozen corn. The original recipe called for, actually I think they were 12 ounce because the original recipe called for 32 ounces and it was a little more than that. And then after that I added the 48 ounces of chicken broth and 4-ounce cans of diced green chilies. And the diced green chilies is really what makes this recipe taste unique and delicious. Then I added some minced garlic and some cumin, along with some cubes of bouillon. After that, I put the lid on. I moved the vent to ceiling, not venting, and then I cooked it for 20 minutes on manual high pressure. Once that was done, I quick released the valve and then I began removing the pieces of chicken so that I could cut them up or shred them up and add them back into the pot. After that, I added some milk and I just stirred it up, about 2 cups of milk, and stirred it up, and then I began to serve it in bowls. We like to start with Fritos on the bottom of the bowl. Gives it a really nice taste, and then we ladle on some of the chicken soup, or the Sopa de Maize, I should say. And make sure you get a little extra broth to soak into those Fritos, unless you don't like soggy Fritos. And in that case, you can put them on top as well. I also like to put a little bit of sour cream and salsa on mine. And the kids tried a little bit of cheese, which I had never done until this weekend, and that was also very good.